Hi, welcome back to my mom life. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Jordan, and today we are making homemade flour tortillas. These really don't take a lot of ingredients at all. You just need some all-purpose flour. You need some hot water, some salt, oil. You could use shortening or butter. I just have some vegetable oil and some baking powder. So the first thing you want to do is measure out your dry ingredients. So I will have the measurements for you written out in the description box, but it is 3 cups of flour. So I'm going to measure that out, and then I will put in the baking soda and salt and mix it up with a fork. Then we'll just add in our wet ingredients, knead it a little bit. This is so simple. I was actually surprised how simple this was, and if you don't have tortillas on hand, it's actually really inexpensive to make them homemade, and it's pretty easy. So I'm going to measure in the baking powder and salt like I said, mix it up, and then we will knead it for just about a minute and separate it into individual balls for our tortillas. I added the oil in first and gave that a mix, and then added in the hot water just to kind of make it like a crumbly dough, like I was making maybe like a pie dough or something, just to kind of add it in that way. That's just how I did it. You can add them in all at once if you want, the water and the oil, but I mixed the oil in first and then the hot water. Once it starts to come together, I went in with my hands and just started mixing it by hand. You have more control that way, and it's easier to incorporate everything easier than like a wooden spoon or a fork like I was using. So I just went in with my hands, kneaded it in the bowl for a second, and then I put it on my clean counter and kneaded it there just really quickly. I didn't want to over knead the dough. You just want to get it to come together and then cut it into equal size portions, and then we will divvy it up into balls for our individual tortillas. I made pretty small size tortillas. You could definitely make them bigger than what I did. I made like probably a soft taco size or fajita size. If you were to buy them at the store, that might be what they're called. But I made them smaller. I cut my one big dough ball into 8 pieces, and then I cut each piece of that into thirds. You could definitely cut each piece into half, and that would make a good size tortilla. So if you wanted to do the cut into 8s and then cut each piece in half, that would make a good size tortilla if you wanted them a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to roll each little section into a ball and then set it on my counter like this, and we are going to cover these for 15 minutes to 30 minutes, something like that. Just let the dough rest, and then we will cook them up in a hot skillet. So I covered them with a towel, came back in a few minutes, and then I went ahead and rolled them out. I'm going to move all of them over to the side so I can work one at a time. and you're going to kind of flour your surface a little bit because the dough will stick to your counter, and you're going to want to flour the rolling pin or the top of the dough ball as you're rolling it out. And I just took my rolling pin and went around and rolled it out into a circle. This would work really well if you had somebody on the stove over the skillet and another person rolling out the tortillas. Then you could just use some teamwork and cook. One person could be cooking the tortillas and the other person rolling them out. It would just go a lot faster, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. I just rolled all of them out and then I started cooking them. I have my cast iron skillet. That's what I used to cook them in. I have it heating up on the stove just over like medium heat. So it was nice and hot when I was ready to start cooking. You could use any kind of skillet. You don't have to grease it or anything. A nonstick skillet would be fine, but just a dry skillet, no grease or anything. So here's all the dough balls rolled out. Then I'm just going to plop one in my hot skillet and let it cook. Don't do what I do. Don't use your fingers to flip the tortilla. I did get tongs, so don't worry. But once it starts to bubble up a little bit, you can flip it and get the little brown spots on there. You can get it as dark as you like. So I like some of them to have a little bit more char on them. So you'll see I let some of them go a little bit longer. You definitely don't want to walk away from your stove though, because these cook super fast. It's like 30 seconds on each side. But you do want to roll them pretty thin. Otherwise they will take longer and they'll be a lot thicker. So I forgot to mention that when I was rolling them out. You want to roll them pretty thin. So I'm going to go ahead and cook them all up and I'll show you my stack of tortillas when I am done. So here is my plate of flour tortillas. These were so easy to make. I hope that you try them. If you do, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around. I make a lot of food content here on my channel. I have all kinds of recipes. So if you're into that kind of stuff, then definitely stick around. I will see y'all in my next one. Bye guys.